I want to talk about Dragon Age for a hot minute. BioWare just dropped their announcement to an announcement trailer. It has been met with some levels of frustration, understandably so. It is very irritating to get an announcement of an announcement. It's certainly not the way that I would have handled it if I was them, but I'm not them, so I did quite like the trailer. You know, it showed us a few things, it showed us a few locales. There are a few things that worry me, so let's get into those. First and foremost, I am all for giving BioWare all the time they need, because there's two things you have to remember. Firstly, BioWare needs a win, and they need one bad. So they need Dragon Age to be as good as it can possibly be. Without it, I think BioWare and certainly the Dragon Age franchise is in very real trouble. The second thing you have to remember is there is no game that will be made in the near future that will be compared to Baldur's Gate 3 as much as Dragon Age Dreadwolf. Okay? Because remember now, there's this kind of theme going around that Larian Studios is doing BioWare games better than BioWare. Not to say that Larian Studios don't have their own identity, but I mean they have certainly drawn inspiration from the old BioWare games. So Dragon Age Dreadwolf firstly needs to be on par as much as possible with Baldur's Gate 3, and secondly, it's probably a good idea for BioWare to put a little bit of distance between Dragon Age Dreadwolf and Baldur's Gate 3. So Baldur's Gate 3 is not that fresh in everybody's memory when Dragon Age Dreadwolf comes out. So I understand the delay. I understand why this game cannot come out tomorrow. Yeah, but an announcement to an announcement, man. They could have just done a tweet or an X. They could have just sent out a post on X and said, oh, there we go. We're going to announce this thing in the summer. Thank you for coming. But I also appreciate the little trailer we got. I did appreciate that. It's not too bad. It's just something. Now, to talk about the trailer itself, I'm not quite sure what to make of the tone of the trailer and therefore the game itself. Because I think there's something that most Dragon Age fans will agree on is we want Dragon Age to go back to its darker, almost horror-like roots, right? Dragon Age Inquisition was by no means a bad game, but I don't think it really fit in with the identity of the Dragon Age universe. Dragon Age 1 and even Dragon Age 2, for all its flaws, I think the tone was there. It had a darker tone, darker themes, where Dragon Age Inquisition, I think, veered off into a more light-hearted kind of tone, and that's something I think we can all agree is not really where the Dragon Age franchise should be. And I'm not sure what to make of this trailer. You get those very lush sort of images of Ravane, I think. There's very beautiful sort of beachside areas, which again is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it's nice to sometimes have something to break the darkness, to break that very dark, gloomy tone. It's nice to have one or two areas that break that up. There's nothing wrong with that. I just hope that the rest of the game, or that most of the game, is kind of dark, kind of gloomy, certainly with dark themes, certainly with dark choices that the player has to make, with very real consequences. Overall, I'm glad we got something, and I can live with that for now. One final thing that I'm hoping that the trailer was trying to convey to us is that we will hopefully be getting origin stories again, showing us these areas, showing us Weishaupt, and showing us Ravane and Tiva and all these places. I'm really hoping, I'm praying, I'm on my knees begging the gods of gaming, just please give us our origin stories. Because there's nothing that made Dragon Age Origins more unique and more replayable than those origin stories. I'm at a point, actually, if Dragon Age Dreadwolf doesn't have origin stories, I don't even think I'll play the game. Honestly, that's how strongly I feel about this, because it is the one thing that just stood out from everything else in the Dragon Age games. And I mean, there's many good things you can say about the Dragon Age games, but the playable origin stories was just phenomenal. And if I don't see that back in Dreadwolf, man, I'm just going to be very disappointed. And I'm hoping this trailer was trying to convey cryptically that's gonna make a return. So that's it. That's just a very quick overview of what I thought about the Dragon Age Day trailer. I'm quietly optimistic about the game. I might be in the minority, but I'm really hoping that BioWare can pull this one off, because I love BioWare. I love their games. I got introduced to BioWare through Dragon Age Origins, and I would really hate to see the franchise and the developer ultimately go down. In my last video, I went in pretty hard on BioWare because of Anthem, and I really just wanted to end this video on a better note, on a more positive note. So, sending you nothing but good vibes, BioWare. I hope you pull this off. Cheers.